Okay, this is section 4.1 on the higher tier. We're doing percentages, fractions and decimals all linked together. I did say I wouldn't do any sort of question C's, any grade C questions, but you know, I've succumbed to the temptation. I've got to give you a few of them anyway. So I've selected a few from page 44 to 45. They've been pasted up on the background there again. It's a lovely view from Weymouth, looking over at the fleet and looking at Chesil Beach. It's absolutely stunning. Anyway, question 6 is as follows. It says the population of the UK is approximately 61 million. About 13% of the population is between 5 to 15 years old, etc., etc. A load to read. Let's just jump straight in. Let's work out 13%. And since I've got a calculator because of this unit, I'm just use a multiplier and go for 0.13. 13% of 61 million. I'll probably put the word million after it in a minute. So I've got 0.13 multiplied by 61. That's going to give me 7.93 million. Let's not lose sight of that fact. And then in 2031, we're going to rise to 71 million, and we're going to have 12.4% of the population be kids between 5 to 15. So 12.4%, so that's 0.124% of the 71 million there. And that's going to be in 2031 projecting. So 0.124, that's 12.4% multiplied by 71. I won't put the zeros on for millions. I'll just work it out exactly as it stands. That's 804, and that's in millions as well. And how many more children? Well, there's going to be more children in. That's going to be 2031, and that is where are we now? That's the population now, so I suppose we'll call it 2011. There you go. 20 years time, that's what we're expecting. More kids around. Jolly good. Right, let's take them away and get the difference. 8.804 million, take away 7.93 million. Let's just get the absolute answer there. 8.804 take away 7.93, and that's going to be 0.874 million. If you multiply that by 10 to the power of 6, in other words, like this, 874, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're looking at roughly 8,740,000 extra children in the country. Alright, that's what we've got, and that's question 6 sorted. Now, I'm not sure whether you want to quote it in millions like that, or just call it quote it like as a ordinary number. Doesn't really matter. Next question. Right, this is Alex now. This is question, I think it's question 10 actually. Yeah, question 10 on page 45. Alex. Anyway, Alex is saving 30% of his pocket money, and he spends £4.20. Well, if he spends £4.20, that's clearly 70% of his money spent and 30% saved. Makes sense, doesn't it? Therefore, the answer to A, what percentage of his pocket money does Alex save? He saves 70%. So I think I put an arrow to that as well. What is 1% of Alex's pocket money? Well, I've got 1% is £4.20. Therefore, sorry, 70% is £4.20. Therefore, 1% is going to be £4.20 divided by 70. Now I can do that with my brain. I think that's 6p. Let's be absolutely sure, because 7 goes into 42 6 times. So 4.2, £4.20 divided by 70, and that's going to be, yes, 6p. So 0.06, and of course if that's in pounds, because the £4.20 is in pounds, that is of course 6p, as you know. So therefore, how much does Alex save for part C? Well, if I'm going to save 30% like that, then I just want to multiply it by 30. So I can say 30 times 6p, and I can see that's 180 pence. In other words, £1.80. So Alex saves £1.80. He spends £4.20. He obviously gets £6 pocket money. Alright, that's Alex sorted. Our next question is quite nice. estate agents. So when selling houses, an estate agent charges 3% on the first £50,000 of the property, and then 1% of everything over 50,000. So how much will he charge, or she? Will they charge if a flat is sold for £95,000? Now let's look at £95,000. £95,000. We can separate that into two blocks. We've got the £50,000 block, charged at 3%, and we've got the remaining £45,000, and that will be charged at 1%, because that's the excess over the £50,000. So there we are, we've got two percentages to work out, then we add them up and that's their commission. So let's just make it fit here. Do it in one step. I've got 3% of 50,000. Grab my machine quickly. So 0.03 times 50, 1, 2, 3, bam. Well, that's £1,500 worth of commission straight away on the first 3%. They've got 1% of the excess, which is £45,000. Be lucky to get it nowadays, that price in London anyway. So 1% of that, 0.01 times 45,000, and that's an extra £450 on top for the lucky estate agent. Let's see if he makes the sale anyway. Altogether we have £1,950 commission on the sale of that flat. Let's just rub out that accidental blob there, didn't mean that. And we do exactly the same for the house sold at almost £500,000 by the look of it. So essentially, I'm going to try and make it fit down here if I can. Alright, same way. I have got this amount as it sells. I'm going to have 3% and for the first £50,000, so let's jump straight in. 0.03 times 50,000. Work that in a minute. And I've got 0.01 of the excess. So the excess is going to be £50,000 away from that, which is £439,900. Work out these two bits, and that will become, so 0.03 times 50,000 is just like before anyway, so that's going to be £1,500 plus, work out that little bit there, 439,900 multiplied by 0.01, the 1%, that's an extra £4,000. Look at that. £4,399. That gives a total of, add on the 1,500, and this fine salesman earns this as commission. Look at that. Great work if you can get it, if you can do it. There you go. So on the sale of the house, we're looking at £5,899 worth of commission, and that's incredible. Alright then, I'm going to stop the video there. That's all I want to do with 4.1, just a taster of working with fractions and decimals and percentages. Decimals in terms of money, decimals in terms of me using multipliers. Can't really see what the fraction is, but anyway, no doubt there'll be other questions involving fractions, so I'll sign off.